Welcome, friends, to another soft and steady journey. Tonight, we will wander through the world of Minecraft in a way you may not have before. Instead of rushing across fields or mining deep into caves, we will move slowly, listening carefully, and letting the little details guide us. This is a collection of 150 facts, each about the many creatures who bring the game's world to life. From the tiniest silverfish that scurry through hidden stones to the towering ender dragon who rules the skies of the end, every mob has its own story, its own gentle presence waiting to be noticed. These are not quick lists or hurried trivia, but long, restful explorations meant to soothe and calm as you drift towards sleep. Let the rhythm of the words carry you, like walking across soft grass at dusk or sailing on quiet waters under starlight. If you enjoy this bedtime adventure, I invite you to subscribe so we can continue exploring together. And as always, tell me, where are you listening from tonight? The Creeper, perhaps the most iconic of all Minecraft mobs, was never meant to exist in the form we know it today. Its story begins quietly, with a simple coding error. Marcus Persson, the creator of Minecraft, had been experimenting with pigs, trying to create farm animals that would wander the world. In one moment of mistyped dimensions, he made the body tall and narrow instead of short and wide. The result was a strange, upright creature, odd and unsettling to look at. Most developers might have deleted the mistake, but instead, this accident was embraced. Over time, the accidental pig became the hissing, explosive mob that defines the game's survival experience. Its green texture, its stalking silence, and its sudden bursts of destruction all grew from that one moment of chance. In a way, the Creeper reminds us that even mistakes can carry unexpected beauty. As you drift toward sleep, it is soothing to think that not everything needs to be perfect to leave a lasting mark. Endermen, tall and watchful, speak in voices that feel familiar yet distorted, almost like echoes of our own words caught in a dream. Their speech is, in truth, made from actual lines of dialogue taken from the game's developers, slowed down, reversed, and layered into something alien. That is why, when you hear an Enderman mutter in the distance, it feels both strange and strangely human. There is comfort in this detail. These tall, shadowy figures are not entirely removed from us. They are built from fragments of human voices, stretched into something uncanny but still carrying a trace of recognition. Meeting one in the dark may feel frightening, but when you know the truth, it becomes something softer, like hearing a voice through water or remembering words from a fading dream. Endermen may be mysterious, but they are also reminders of how familiar things can become wondrous when seen from a different angle. In the dangerous heart of the Nether, piglin brutes were introduced to remind players that not every treasure should be reached easily. Unlike normal piglins, who can be distracted with gold, these brutes refuse all offers. They are fearless guards, designed to make bastion remnants truly perilous. Their creation stemmed from the need for balance. A structure filled with riches should also hold risk, something that demands caution and respect. The brutes stand tall, their golden axes gleaming in the dim nether light, a silent warning that not everything can be bargained with. In the rhythm of exploration, they add tension and weight, forcing players to move carefully and to remember that greed can carry danger. In a way, piglin brutes are guardians of patience, teaching us that sometimes the wisest path is not rushing toward treasure, but slowing down, observing, and moving with care, just as we do when we prepare for sleep. Wolves, by contrast, are companions rather than adversaries. Their presence in Minecraft was inspired by real-world dogs, creatures known for loyalty and quiet companionship. When tamed with bones, wolves transform from wild, cautious animals into faithful partners who follow and protect the player. Their design was meant to give players comfort on long journeys, to provide a sense of home even in distant biomes. Watching a wolf sit patiently beside a campfire or leap bravely into battle evokes the warmth of true friendship. In the gentle rhythm of nighttime storytelling, wolves remind us of loyalty, of soft footsteps at our side, and of the calm feeling that we are never truly alone. Even in the blocky wilderness, their steady presence offers peace, a little heartbeat of comfort that stays with us no matter how far we wander. Long before cats prowled villages, ocelots roamed the jungle. They had a curious role in the game. These spotted, elusive creatures were once the only way to keep creepers at bay. Creepers, it seems, are afraid of ocelots and will turn away when one is near. Players discovered this quickly, taming ocelots not only for their beauty but also for protection. Over time, the mechanics shifted, and cats were introduced as their own mob, but the legacy of ocelots remains. They carry with them the memory of a time when they were shields against one of the game's oldest dangers. Their golden eyes and silent paws hold a kind of mystery, as though they carry secrets of the jungle with them. To watch them move is to see grace in motion, and to fall asleep thinking of them is to remember that sometimes even the smallest, quietest beings hold power over fear itself. Villagers, with their quiet and are perhaps the most human-seeming of all mobs. Their voices, designed to be simple and repetitive, were inspired by the idea of creating sounds that would feel familiar without becoming distracting. The result is a soft chorus of thoughtful murmurs, as though each villager is always pondering something quietly. Their communities, with farms, libraries, and blacksmiths, give the game a sense of lived-in history. They trade, they sleep, they wander, and in doing so, they make the world feel alive. The of a villager drifting across the air at night has become one of Minecraft's most recognizable sounds, almost like the murmur of neighbors through thin walls or voices from a market square. As you sink deeper into rest, that gentle becomes part of the world's lullaby, reminding us that curiosity and routine can be soothing too. And then there are the iron golems, towering protectors who stand silently in villages. Their design draws from folklore and myth, where great stone guardians have long been imagined as protectors of towns and sacred places. In Minecraft, they serve the same purpose: to defend the helpless, to fight off dangers, and to stand watch through the night. Built from iron blocks and a single carved pumpkin, they are both mechanical and magical, creations that blend utility with wonder. Watching an iron golem stride calmly across a village square, flowers sometimes clutched gently in their hands, is like seeing a storybook guardian come to life. They are patient, steady, and strong, reminders that protection can be quiet, that safety can exist even in a world filled with danger. As you drift further into sleep, the thought of such guardians standing watch is deeply comforting, a promise that, while you rest, there is something strong and gentle, keeping the darkness at bay. In the deepest layers of Minecraft's world, a new kind of fear was created when the Warden was introduced. Unlike other mobs, it does not spawn naturally. It rises only when players make too much noise in the ancient city, summoned like a spirit pulled from the darkness itself. The Warden is not meant to be fought but avoided, a reminder that some dangers are best respected rather than conquered. Its chest pulses with light, its body covered in skulk, as though the deep dark has given shape to its guardian. Blind but aware, it hunts by sound, listening to the smallest vibrations. The warden feels like the embodiment of silence itself, a creature that turns carelessness into consequence. For those listening now, drifting towards sleep, the warden teaches a soft lesson. Sometimes the quietest path is the safest one, and sometimes peace is found not by fighting but by listening closely to the stillness all around you. In contrast to the terror of the warden, bats flutter quietly through caves, serving no purpose beyond ambience. They drop nothing when killed, they offer no threat, and yet they fill the empty caverns with a sense of life. Their high-pitched squeaks echo softly in the dark, and their tiny wings flicker like whispers of motion against stone walls. Mojang added bats not to challenge players but to decorate the world with subtle atmosphere, to make caves feel less empty. In a way, bats remind us of the little details that make a place feel alive. They are like the quiet rustling of leaves outside a window at night, or the flutter of wings in a dream. They do not need to serve a purpose beyond simply existing, reminding us that beauty can be found in small, seemingly unnecessary details. Falling asleep with bats in mind is like imagining shadows dancing gently across the walls, harmless companions in the darkness. The glow squid has its own curious history, voted into the game by players themselves. When Mojang held a community vote to decide which mob to add, the glow squid triumphed, even though many saw it as a silly choice. It drifts through oceans and underground lakes, casting a faint shimmer as though glowing in the deep. The truth, however, is that glow squids do not actually give off light in the game. Their glow is only visual, not functional. Still, their hypnotic swimming patterns and soft flickering textures bring something dreamlike to the water. The glow ink sacs they drop can be used to create bright, glowing signs, adding a small touch of magic to words written in the blocky world. The glow squid is proof of the community's influence on Minecraft, showing that sometimes the charm of a creature is reason enough for it to exist. As you drift toward rest, the image of glowing squids, drifting silently through dark water, is a soothing one, like lanterns floating in an endless sea. In the strange stillness of the deep dark, skulk shriekers and censors stand watch like sentinels. The shriekers, in particular, are fascinating. They do not harm players directly, but their cries pierce the air, calling the warden forth after too much disturbance. Their design is unsettling, a block that looks alive, with a gaping maw in its center, glowing when it screams. Each shriek raises the tension, and after the third, silence shatters as the warden appears. The shriekers are more than just blocks. They are alarm systems, living reminders of the fragility of noise. To stand near one and know that even a small mistake might summon doom is a uniquely atmospheric experience. Yet, when thought of gently, shriekers are like reminders of bedtime itself, a signal that the world has grown too loud, too restless, and that it is time to slow down and grow quiet again. They teach us to embrace stillness, to breathe softer, to move gently until peace returns. Dolphins bring a sense of joy to the oceans of Minecraft. Sleek and playful, they leap gracefully above the waves, spinning in the air before diving back into the sea. Their presence is more than decorative, though, as they guide players toward hidden treasures, often leading the way to buried chests or ocean ruins. Their swimming speed is infectious. When swimming near dolphins, players are granted a boost that makes the ocean feel alive with shared energy. The sound of dolphins chattering and whistling underwater brings a playful counterbalance to the dangers of the deep. They are reminders of companionship and trust, gentle helpers in an environment that might otherwise feel overwhelming. Drifting into dreams, dolphins carry us forward, showing us that even in the vast unknown of an ocean, there are guides and friends who can make the journey lighter. Their laughter-like sounds become a lullaby, pulling us into calmer waters of the mind. The heartbeat of the warden is one of Minecraft's most unsettling yet beautiful audio choices. When the creature stirs in the darkness, a low, steady thump begins, echoing through stone corridors like the beat of some giant heart. It grows louder as the warden approaches, faster when its anger rises, until the sound itself becomes a warning. Unlike other mobs, which can be seen before they are felt, the warden is heard first, making the heartbeat one of the most powerful tools of atmosphere in the game. It is not just a mechanic, but a story told through sound of something ancient, waiting, and awake. Yet, when listened to in a quiet moment, the heartbeat is not only threatening, it is also grounding, like the steady rhythm of our own pulse, reminding us of life within silence. As you close your eyes, the heartbeat of the warden can transform into something gentle, steady, and reassuring, a reminder that beneath everything there is always rhythm. And then there are the dolphins' curious cousins, guardians of the ocean monuments. These angular, spined creatures patrol the waters around their prismarine homes, emitting eerie noises that echo through the sea. Their most striking ability is the laser beam they fire at intruders, a long, glowing line of light that hums before striking. Their very presence makes the ocean monuments feel defended, like sacred places that resist intrusion. When they attack, players are also afflicted with mining fatigue, slowing any attempt to break through the monument's blocks. Guardians were designed to transform the ocean into a place of mystery and challenge, reminding us that the sea holds dangers just as the land does. Yet, their haunting sounds and glowing eyes give them an almost otherworldly quality, like spirits patrolling ancient ruins beneath the waves. As you drift toward sleep, imagining guardians swimming slowly through silent waters feels like picturing ancient protectors, still keeping their long vigil in the depths. Among the many mobs that swim in Minecraft's waters, axolotls stand out as both useful and adorable. Added with the caves and cliffs update, these small, smiling amphibians are modeled after the real-world axolotl, a critically endangered species found in lakes of Mexico. In-game, they serve as helpful allies, attacking hostile aquatic mobs like drowned and guardians. When injured, they will play dead, floating lifelessly for a moment before returning to the fight. This charming mechanic not only makes them effective companions but also endearing to watch. Players quickly grew fond of collecting them in buckets, carrying them as tiny companions wherever they traveled. Their soft, pastel colors, pink, brown, gold, blue, and even the rare leucistic variant, give them a dreamlike quality. To think of axolotls as you drift to sleep is to imagine tiny guardians swimming peacefully at your side, always smiling, always ready to protect you in silence. The Phantom is a mob born from the votes of players, chosen in the very first Minecraft community mob vote. Its role is unusual, a creature of the night that appears when players neglect their rest. After 3 nights without sleep, the sky darkens, and phantoms swoop down with piercing cries, attacking from above. Their leathery wings and glowing green eyes give them an otherworldly presence, as though they are shadows pulled from forgotten dreams. In truth, their purpose is to remind players of the importance of sleeping in beds, a gentle nudge woven into the form of a terrifying creature. Yet, when viewed from a softer perspective, phantoms are symbols of balance. They embody the idea that even in a world of endless activity, rest must be part of the rhythm. As you settle beneath your blankets, phantoms lose their sharp edges and become reminders that sleep is not weakness, but a vital, necessary strength. The panda is a mob that brings warmth and charm to the bamboo forests of Minecraft. Pandas have unique personalities, with different behaviors depending on their traits. Some are playful, rolling and tumbling across the grass. Some are lazy, spending their time lying on their backs, munching on bamboo. Others are aggressive, standing tall and ready to defend themselves when threatened. These personalities make pandas feel alive, as though each one has its own soul. Their presence was added to celebrate Chinese culture and the real-world conservation of pandas, reminding players of the importance of protecting nature. Watching a panda sneeze, startling nearby companions, has become one of the game's most beloved details. Pandas are gentle reminders of joy, of simple pleasures like eating, resting, and rolling in the grass. As you drift toward dreams, pandas become soft symbols of comfort, like cuddly guardians who bring peace to the quiet forests of the night. The bee is another creature that carries both charm and importance. Small and buzzing, they float through flower-filled fields, pollinating crops and bringing color to the world. Their addition to the game served a deeper purpose, to highlight the role bees play in ecosystems, both in Minecraft and in real life. They help plants grow by spreading pollen, ensuring that food sources flourish. When provoked, they sting, and like real bees, they perish soon afterward, a poignant reminder of their fragility. Yet, in peaceful play, bees are more often seen as companions of the flowers, drifting lazily through the air as the sun sets. Their gentle hum is like nature's lullaby, a soothing sound that blends perfectly with the game's quiet music. Thinking of bees at bedtime is like picturing a meadow filled with blossoms, each flower kissed by tiny wings, each moment made sweeter by the harmony of nature's smallest workers. Snow golems are unusual creatures, crafted by players rather than found in the wild. Made by stacking snow blocks and placing a carved pumpkin on top, these snowy companions come to life instantly, wandering and tossing snowballs at hostile mobs. While their snowball attacks do little damage, they serve as distractions, buying players precious moments of safety. In snowy biomes, they leave trails of snow behind them, painting the ground white with each step. Some players build them simply for companionship, keeping them in pens or homes as quiet guardians. Their simple design and playful nature make them feel like cheerful creations, like snowmen brought to life by imagination. To think of snow golems is to remember the magic of winter, the way snow transforms the world into something soft and silent. As sleep approaches, snow golems stand in memory like gentle sentinels, fragile but loyal, their snowy presence whispering of calm and cold beauty. The Strider is one of the Nether's strangest mobs, a creature that walks not on land but across the surface of lava. With long legs and blank square faces, Striders appear almost awkward, yet they are perfectly adapted to their fiery environment. They are passive, gentle, and can be saddled to carry players across oceans of molten rock. When taken into the overworld, however, they shiver in the cold, needing the warmth of lava to feel at home. Their contrast, thriving in heat, struggling in chill, makes them symbolic of belonging, of environments that shape us. Striders remind us that everyone has their own place where they thrive, their own element where they feel safe. Watching them bob calmly across seas of fire is strangely soothing, like lanterns drifting across a red and glowing sea. In dreams, Striders become patient ferrymen, carrying us slowly and safely across rivers of flame. Finally, the llama is a creature of burden, playful yet practical. Found wandering with traveling traders or in high mountain biomes, llamas can be tamed and used to carry items. When equipped with carpets, they show off colorful patterns, turning each llama into a walking tapestry. They can form caravans, following one another in long, gentle lines, creating a parade of woolly companions that wander with you through the world. Their spit, used as a defense against wolves or attackers, adds humor to their otherwise calm demeanor. Inspired by their real-world counterparts in South America, llamas bring both function and personality to Minecraft. Their soft, humming noises, their tall, gentle forms, and their willingness to walk beside the player all make them endearing. At night, they feel like patient carriers of dreams, slowly walking in lines across the landscape, carrying not only items but also stories and memories, step by step, into tomorrow. The pig, one of Minecraft's earliest mobs, is simple yet iconic. Pigs were among the first animals added to the game, providing pork chops for food and a sense of life to grassy plains. Their cheerful grunts and pink blocky bodies are comforting in their familiarity. Players once used saddles to ride pigs, steering them with carrots on sticks before horses were introduced. This quirky mechanic gave pigs a place in the game's history as a symbol of both humor and utility. They wander aimlessly, sniffing the ground, their tails curled and tiny eyes blinking gently. For many players, pigs were the first mob they encountered, the first sign that the world was not empty but alive. To picture pigs at night is to remember the earliest days of Minecraft, when every discovery felt new, and every sound was a reminder that you were not alone in the blocky fields. Cows are another gentle staple of Minecraft's world, offering milk, leather, and beef. They roam peacefully across plains and forests, their low, soft moos filling the air. The sound of cows has become one of the most nostalgic in the game, a background melody to building, farming, and exploring. Their usefulness is balanced with their calm presence, as they are never aggressive, never threatening, simply part of the landscape. Players often create pastures for cows, watching them gather together in herds. There is something soothing about their movements, the way they turn their heads or wander in groups, always grazing and humming softly. They embody the quiet rhythm of rural life, of farms and fields, of sunrises and sunsets. As you close your eyes, cows become symbols of steadiness, a reminder that life can be simple and nourishing, rooted in calm repetition and quiet care. Chickens, with their fluttering wings and tiny bodies, bring a light-hearted touch to Minecraft. They provide eggs, feathers, and meat, but more importantly, they fill the world with cheerful clucking and occasional surprises. Their ability to lay eggs makes them unique, as no other farm animal produces items passively in this way. Players have long built chicken farms to collect eggs and resources, but many still enjoy letting them wander freely in fields, pecking at the ground. Their little hops and flutters make them charming companions, and their sound is instantly recognizable. Baby chickens, especially, are beloved for their tiny size and high-pitched chirps. They are reminders of growth, of beginnings, of the gentle cycles of life. To think of chickens as you drift into dreams is to imagine a sunny farmyard filled with soft clucks, tiny feathers, and simple joy. Sheep, with their fluffy wool and gentle bleats, play a special role in Minecraft. Their wool can be dyed in every color, turning them into moving rainbows across the fields. This mechanic has inspired creativity, with players building entire farms of multicolored sheep to supply wool for banners, beds, and decorations. The act of shearing sheep rather than harming them is one of the game's kindest mechanics, rewarding players without requiring destruction. Their sounds, calm and repetitive, are almost like a lullaby, filling the air with a soft chorus of baa as they wander in groups. Sheep embody comfort, warmth, and creativity. They are like living blankets, carriers of color and calm. As you settle into sleep, sheep become more than just animals in a game. They become the timeless symbols of drifting into slumber, counted one by one in quiet rhythm until dreams arrive. Horses added a new dimension to exploration, allowing players to ride swiftly across plains and forests. Tamed with patience and care, they can be equipped with saddles and armor, making them both companions and protectors. Their varied coats, from spotted to solid, from pale to dark, give each horse a unique beauty. Horses transformed the way players traveled, turning long treks into gentle rides beneath the square Sunday. They neigh, rear, and gallop with energy, but when standing still, their quiet presence feels calming. They are symbols of freedom, of journeys taken, of horizons always waiting in the distance. To think of horses before sleep is to imagine riding peacefully across endless plains, the world stretching softly in every direction, the rhythm of hooves echoing like a heartbeat beneath the stars. Cats, introduced to villages as natural guardians, are beloved companions in Minecraft. They curl on beds, follow their owners, and most importantly, scare away creepers. Their meows, purrs, and soft movements add warmth to homes and villages alike. Each cat's pattern is unique, with skins inspired by real breeds, from tabbies to tuxedos. When tamed, they will often bring gifts to the player, dropping items such as feathers or string after a night's rest, as if they, too, understand the quiet rituals of giving and receiving. Cats are playful, cozy presences, filling houses with sound and companionship. Their gentle purrs feel like natural lullabies, vibrating softly in the background, easing tension and inviting calm. As you drift deeper into rest, cats remind us of home, of curling safely beneath blankets while a small guardian purrs at your side, watching the night. Dogs and wolves share a bond with players that feels timeless. While wolves are found wild, roaming forests and tundras, they become loyal dogs once tamed with bones. Their companionship is deep, following the player endlessly, fighting bravely against enemies, and sitting patiently when asked. Their wagging tails, their barks, their ability to feel like true partners makes them some of the most beloved mobs in the game. In villages, they guard, and in wilderness, they explore, always by your side. They embody loyalty, trust, and comfort. For many, the sound of a wolf's bark or the sight of a tamed dog waiting faithfully by the door is one of the most heartwarming details of the entire game. As you close your eyes, wolves and dogs become guardians of dreams, watchful companions who stand beside you in silence, making the long night feel shorter, safer, and filled with warmth. The humble rabbit is a small but charming creature in Minecraft, hopping through fields and deserts with a lightness that feels almost playful. Rabbits can be tamed for food and fur, but they are often appreciated simply for their presence, bounding softly across the terrain. Their delicate movements and twitching noses give the world a sense of detail, as though the land is not only for grand adventures but also for quiet, everyday life. There is even a rare rabbit known as the killer bunny, once in the game as a hostile variant, though it was later removed for being too strange and frightening. Now, rabbits remain gentle, mostly harmless companions, their quick hops and small shadows flickering across the ground like whispers of life. To think of rabbits at bedtime is to imagine soft fields, gentle thumps of paws, and the calming rhythm of small creatures at peace. Foxes, added with the taiga biome, are creatures of the night, curling up to sleep during the day and roaming quietly once stars appear. Their russet fur glows warmly against the snow or grass, and sometimes their coats appear white, blending with frozen landscapes. Foxes can hold items in their mouths, often carrying feathers or berries, which makes them feel more alive, as though they are foraging in their own small world. Taming them indirectly by breeding two wild foxes to create a trusting baby requires patience, making their loyalty feel even more rewarding. Their soft yips and quiet movements bring atmosphere to forests, adding a touch of mystery to the night. When imagined before sleep, foxes are like gentle spirits of the woods, slipping quietly among trees, curling in nests of leaves, and reminding us that not all night wanderers are dangerous. Parrots are vibrant companions that bring color and sound to the jungles of Minecraft. With feathers in red, blue, green, yellow, and cyan, they brighten the trees as they flutter from branch to branch. Players can tame them with seeds, and once tamed, parrots will mimic the sounds of nearby hostile mobs. This mimicry, while practical as a warning, also adds a sense of personality, as though the tiny bird is playfully chattering in imitation. They can perch on the player's shoulder, making them one of the most intimate companions in the game. Their playful flapping and soft chirps bring a tropical warmth to Minecraft, turning jungles into places of life and music. In dreams, parrots become storytellers, carrying the voices of the world on their wings, turning danger into songs and shadows into colorful, gentle whispers of sound. The wandering trader is one of the quirkiest human-like figures in Minecraft, appearing suddenly near players, accompanied by a pair of llamas. He offers trades that range from useful to amusingly strange. His blue robes and humming noises make him distinct, a traveler who seems to appear out of thin air before disappearing again just as suddenly. The trader embodies the idea of chance encounters, of strangers passing through who carry stories and treasures from distant places. Though many players joke about the oddness of his trades, his presence is endearing, bringing variety and surprise to the quiet rhythm of survival. In the bedtime stillness, the wandering trader feels like a figure from folklore, a mysterious merchant who drifts between worlds, never staying long, always leaving behind just enough curiosity to make us wonder where he came from and where he will go when he vanishes into the night. The polar bear, introduced with the icy biomes, is a massive and powerful creature that brings a sense of majesty to frozen landscapes. Neutral unless threatened, they embody the quiet strength of the Arctic. Cubs often follow their parents closely, and if players get too near, the adults will defend them fiercely. Their white fur against the snowy ground makes them blend seamlessly into their surroundings, adding a sense of realism and atmosphere to the frozen world. Though they do not drop unique loot or play a major role in gameplay, their presence makes the cold biomes feel alive, filled with creatures adapted to the snow and ice. They are guardians of the North, symbols of resilience and quiet dignity. As you rest, picturing polar bears evokes thoughts of wide, frozen fields, of slow-moving giants treading softly across the snow, protectors of a world wrapped in white silence. The mushroom is one of Minecraft's most whimsical creations, a cow covered in bright red mushrooms, found only in the rare mushroom fields biome. These creatures provide both food and unique resources. By using a bowl, players can collect mushroom stew directly from them, a detail that feels magical in its simplicity. When sheared, they transform back into ordinary cows, dropping mushrooms as they do. There are even brown mushrooms, rarer variants that can be bred in storms when lightning strikes. The idea of a living cow covered in mushrooms feels like something from a dream, blending the natural and the fantastical. To imagine mushrooms at night is to picture fields dotted with glowing fungi, creatures wandering slowly under the stars, bringing sustenance and wonder at the same time. They are gentle oddities, reminders that sometimes the strangest creations are also the most enchanting. The turtle is a quiet presence on Minecraft's beaches. They crawl slowly across the sand, laying eggs that hatch into tiny hatchlings, which then scurry toward the sea. The life cycle of turtles is one of the most detailed in the game, and their drops, such as scoots used to craft turtle shells, give them practical importance as well. Yet, it is their gentle nature that makes them so memorable. They are never aggressive, never hurried, moving at their own unshakable pace. To watch baby turtles rush to the ocean is to see hope and renewal embodied in a simple, blocky world. Their shells, wide and domed, make them look like ancient creatures carrying history on their backs. As sleep settles in, turtles become dream companions, moving slowly but surely, reminding us that every journey, no matter how small or how long, begins with a single steady step toward the sea. The squid, one of Minecraft's earliest aquatic creatures, drifts quietly through rivers and oceans. It is passive, never attacking, never threatening, only floating and pulsing its tentacles as it glides along. Its ink sacs, once the main purpose of encountering it, have been used by players for dye, for books, and for writing. But beyond resources, the squid adds life to the water, breaking the silence of rivers and seas with drifting shadows that move like slow dreams. Many players remember their first swim beneath the surface, seeing a squid turn and twist, scattering ink in surprise. It is a reminder that even the simplest creatures bring depth and mystery. To think of squids as you drift into rest is to picture a dark sea filled with soft shapes, floating like thoughts in the quiet, endless water of the night. The guardian's larger and more formidable cousin, the elder guardian, rules the ocean monuments like a watchful spirit. Its size and power make it intimidating, and its ability to inflict mining fatigue reminds players that these underwater temples are not to be taken lightly. The Elder Guardian has a single large eye, and when it stares, the player feels its gaze like a heavy weight. The monuments it guards are built of prismarine, glowing faintly with sea lanterns, as though they are underwater cathedrals. Defeating the Elder Guardian takes courage and preparation, yet its defeat feels less like victory and more like silencing an ancient protector. In a gentle sense, Elder Guardians are reminders that not every ruin should be disturbed, and not every treasure should be taken. As you drift toward sleep, their slow movements and silent watching feel like guardianship, like ancient beings keeping vigil in the quietest corners of the sea. The piglin is a creature of the nether, drawn to gold with an almost obsessive desire. They barter with players, trading rare items for nuggets or ingots, creating an exchange system that feels both strange and practical. Piglins are neutral at first, but can turn hostile quickly if threatened or ignored. Their society, with its bastions and rules, feels alive, as though the nether is not empty but inhabited by creatures with culture and rituals of their own. They grunt, sniff, and mutter as they wander, their behavior making the fiery world feel lived in. Piglins are both traders and dangers, offering help and harm in equal measure. They are a reminder of how even in the harshest environments, communities form, rules exist, and survival depends on balance. To imagine piglins at night is to think of dim firelight reflecting off golden trinkets, voices murmuring in the dark, a marketplace of shadows where even danger has its rituals. Hoglins are another strange creation of the nether, large boar-like beasts that roam the crimson forests. They are aggressive, charging at players on sight, but they also serve as a primary food source in the otherwise barren nether. Their thick, blocky bodies and tusked faces make them intimidating, yet they are essential to survival in this hostile world. Interestingly, hoglins cannot survive in the overworld when brought there. They shiver and eventually transform into zombified hoglins. This mechanic ties them permanently to the nether, as though they belong only in that fiery dimension. Their roars and stomps echo through crimson forests, making the environment feel wild and untamed. In dreams, hoglins can be seen less as threats and more as guardians of their strange, glowing home, protectors of the forests where twisted vines grow and red fog lingers. They remind us that every world has its own balance, its own keepers of the land. The zombified piglin, formerly known as the zombie pigman, is one of Minecraft's oldest nether inhabitants. Once neutral unless attacked, they travel in groups, their golden swords glinting in the dim light. Their mix of pig and human features makes them unsettling yet iconic, a reminder of the nether's unnatural merging of worlds. They represent persistence, wandering endlessly, neither fully alive nor fully gone. When provoked, their groups swarm together, showing a surprising strength born of unity. Their groans and rattling steps echo through nether caves, adding to the atmosphere of unease. Once, players even feared encountering armies of them, endless waves filling the nether after one misstep. Yet, beneath their frightening exterior, zombified piglins are peaceful when left alone. They embody the idea that sometimes danger is only born from disturbance. As you settle into rest, they become symbols of stillness, of travelers who move without destination, forever walking the glowing plains of their endless realm. The blaze, with its spinning rods and fiery attacks, is the embodiment of the nether's dangers. Found in fortresses, they float eerily, their bodies surrounded by flames, their crackling noises filling the air. They attack by launching fireballs, turning quiet halls into arenas of heat and danger. Yet they are also vital, dropping blaze rods used for brewing potions and crafting Eyes of Ender, items required to reach the game's final dimension. Blazes are guardians of progress, standing between players and the path to the end. Their fire is both destructive and transformative, symbolizing trial and growth. To face them is to prove readiness for the game's deeper mysteries. In softer light, blazes can be seen as torches in the dark, fire bearers whose heat carries the promise of both danger and possibility. As you drift towards sleep, their flickering flames become the gentle glow of candles, guiding you toward dreams of warmth and quiet transformation. The ghast, enormous and ghost-like, floats slowly through the vast caverns of the nether. Its pale body and haunting face give it the look of a drifting spirit, and its cries, long, echoing wails, fill the space with melancholy. The ghast attacks with explosive fireballs, but its large size and drifting movements make it feel more tragic than terrifying. It seems lonely, suspended in endless space, its cries like laments carried on hot winds. Many players imagine the ghast as a soul lost in the nether, a creature of sadness more than rage. Its drops, tears used in brewing potions of regeneration, seem to reflect this theme, as though even its sorrow can be turned into healing. To imagine ghasts while resting is to picture great white beings drifting gently in the dark, their cries softened into lullabies, echoes of forgotten songs lingering across a sky of fire and stone. The silverfish is one of the smallest hostile mobs in Minecraft, yet its sudden appearance can startle even the calmest of players. These tiny, skittering creatures hide in special blocks known as infested stone, blending in until disturbed. When the block is broken, the silverfish emerges with a quickness that feels unnerving, its little legs carrying it swiftly across the floor. Found most often in strongholds, silverfish add an extra layer of tension to these already mysterious underground structures. While they do little damage individually, their strength lies in numbers, as disturbing one may awaken many. In the quiet of nighttime thought, silverfish feel less like threats and more like reminders of the hidden, of the life that stirs in small places. They embody the truth that even in stillness, there are unseen worlds, tiny lives unfolding in silence, waiting for the smallest touch to awaken them. Slimes are bouncy, gelatinous creatures that bring both danger and whimsy. Found in swamp biomes or deep below the ground, they spawn in different sizes, each splitting into smaller versions when defeated. Their soft, squishy sounds are oddly satisfying, like the rhythm of a bouncing ball in the dark. Large slimes may overwhelm unprepared players, but the smallest versions are harmless, hopping cheerfully as though unaware of their danger. They drop slime balls, useful items for crafting leads, and sticky pistons, giving them a practical importance beyond their playful design. Slimes are one of the game's stranger creations, simple in form but memorable in effect. To picture slimes while drifting toward sleep is to imagine small, glowing shapes bouncing softly in the night, not as enemies, but as dream companions, playful spirits that turn danger into rhythm and sound into comfort. The magma cube is the nether's fiery counterpart to the slime. Like its overworld cousin, it splits into smaller forms when defeated, bouncing endlessly across the crimson terrain. Unlike slimes, however, magma cubes are dangerous at every size. Their attacks fierce, even in their smallest forms. Their glowing cracks pulse with heat, and their leaps echo like heavy thuds in lava-lit caverns. They drop magma cream, an item tied to brewing fire resistance, symbolizing their dual nature of threat and protection. To face them is to dance with fire itself, to balance danger with reward. Yet in the soft imagination of sleep, magma cubes become glowing embers, flickering shapes bouncing like coals stirred in a hearth. They are not threats but sparks of warmth, reminders that even in fiery places, there is rhythm and life that continues to pulse softly in the darkness. The shulker is a peculiar mob found in the end, hiding within purplish shells that blend seamlessly with the city's blocks. When provoked, they open their shells and fire homing projectiles that inflict levitation, lifting players into the air. This mechanic, both dangerous and fascinating, makes shulkers memorable. Their shells can be collected after defeat, used to craft shulker boxes, special containers that retain their contents even when moved. In this way, shulkers embody themes of preservation and resilience, hiding within their shells and gifting players the ability to carry treasures securely. Their faint, clicking noises and slow, deliberate movements make them feel less like enemies and more like ancient creatures, guardians of the end's treasures. In dreams, shulkers become drifting puzzle pieces, strange beings that rise and fall gently, reminding us of the value of protecting what we hold dear. The Vex is a mischievous spirit, summoned by evokers during raids, small and ghost-like, with wings that flicker in and out of sight. Vexes dart quickly through the air, ignoring walls and obstacles as they strike. Their high-pitched cries and sudden lunges make them unsettling foes difficult to avoid or counter. Yet, as fleeting as they are, Vexes vanish when their time runs out, fading back into nothingness as quickly as they appeared. They are like nightmares that intrude suddenly, only to dissolve with the light of dawn. In the soft rhythm of bedtime storytelling, vexes can be seen as symbols of impermanence, of the fleeting fears that come and go. They remind us that not every worry lingers forever. Some rise suddenly but fade just as fast, leaving only silence behind. The witch is one of Minecraft's most unusual human-like mobs, found in swamp huts or wandering the world at night. Carrying potions, they attack with splashes of poison, slowness, or weakness, making them unpredictable foes. They drink their own potions to heal or resist damage, cackling softly as they fight. Their design ties them to folklore, to the image of witches stirring brews in dark huts hidden in the wild. Yet, beyond their danger, they add atmosphere to the world, turning swamps into places of story and mystery. The soft bubbling of potions, the croak of frogs, and the laughter of witches all blend into an eerie lullaby. To imagine witches before sleep is to think of old tales whispered by firelight, of figures who live apart from the world, weaving secrets into bottles and shadows. The evoker is one of the most powerful illagers, summoning vexes and conjuring fangs of stone that rise from the ground to strike enemies. Found in woodland mansions and raids, they embody authority and command, leading groups of their kin with magical power. Their robes and gestures give them a ceremonial air, as though they are priests or leaders of their dark society. Defeating an evoker rewards players with a totem of undying, a rare item that grants a second chance at life. This mechanic ties the evoker to themes of mortality and resilience, making their defeat both dangerous and rewarding. In the hush of bedtime thought, evokers transform from menacing figures into symbols of the cycle of endings and beginnings. They remind us that even in the darkest times, there is always renewal, always the chance to rise again, softly, into another tomorrow. The Vindicator is an illager with a simple but striking behavior. It wields an axe and charges directly at its foes. Found in woodland mansions or during raids, Vindicators add intensity to encounters, their silent aggression broken only by the heavy sound of their footsteps and the swing of their weapons. Unlike other mobs, they do not cast spells or summon allies. Their power lies in raw strength. When not provoked, however, they wander quietly through their homes, as though pacing the halls of a secret society. This duality, stillness and violence, makes them fascinating. In the soft rhythm of rest, Vindicators can be imagined not as threats but as guardians of hidden halls, watchmen pacing in the dark. They remind us that strength does not always need to roar. Sometimes it simply waits, steady and patient, like the quiet hum beneath the night. Pillagers, with their crossbows and stern faces, represent another side of the Illager clan. They roam in patrols across the overworld, groups of them wandering through plains, forests, and villages. Their presence adds tension, as they can appear unexpectedly, their banners marking the approach of a raid. They do not speak but hum low, unsettling tones, their silence broken only by the snap of their crossbows. And yet, when seen from afar, a patrol of pillagers moving across the horizon feels almost like a caravan, a band of travelers on their own mysterious journey. They embody the balance between routine and danger, appearing without warning but always moving with quiet intent. As you close your eyes, pillagers become shadows on the horizon, distant figures fading into the dusk, reminders that not every presence is meant to harm. Some are simply passing through. The Ravager is a massive beast unleashed during raids, a creature that shakes the ground with every step. With horns and a bellowing roar, it seems unstoppable as it charges through villages, destroying crops and structures in its path. Designed to add chaos to raids, The Ravager is one of Minecraft's most intimidating mobs, and yet, when imagined in stillness, it carries a different kind of presence. Its size, its horns, and its slow, deliberate stomps make it feel like an ancient animal, one that might have roamed the world long before villages ever stood. In dreams, Ravagers can be softened into gentle giants, lumbering protectors of forgotten fields. They become symbols of power, not in destruction, but in endurance, carrying with them the weight of earth and the patience of stone. The vexing but fascinating Illusioner is a mob that exists in the game's files, but has never been added to survival. It is a variant of the Illager family, with powers tied to deception. The Illusioner can cast spells that blind players temporarily and create duplicates of itself, confusing attackers. Though unused, its presence in the code suggests stories of magic and trickery, of a hidden branch of Illagers who mastered illusions. For many, the Illusioner is a curiosity, a ghost of what could have been, a reminder that even unfinished ideas have life within them. As you drift into sleep, the Illusioner becomes a symbol of dreams themselves, illusions that feel real but dissolve when morning comes. It is a gentle whisper that not every creation needs to be complete to carry wonder. The Allay, a much newer mob, feels like the opposite of the Vex. Where Vexes are hostile and fleeting, the Allay is kind and helpful. It was voted into the game by players who were enchanted by the idea of a small, fairy-like companion that collects items for you. When given something to hold, the Allay will search for matching items, humming softly as it floats nearby. Its glowing wings and graceful movements make it feel like a fragment of music come to life, a spirit of generosity and song. The Allay represents kindness embodied in form, reminding players that not all creatures are meant to frighten or harm. Some exist only to help. As you drift toward dreams, the Allay can be imagined as a soft blue light, fluttering gently, carrying small gifts through the night like a friend who never tires. The golems of Minecraft come in more than one form, and the snow golem's cousin, the iron golem, is the most iconic. But there is another variation, the copper golem, that was proposed during a mob vote but never chosen. This little figure would have wandered villages, pressing copper buttons and oxidizing over time, slowly turning green like real copper exposed to air. Though it was never officially added, the idea captured the hearts of many players. The copper golem lives on in imagination, a little companion who might have made redstone contraptions feel alive. Sometimes, the mobs that never made it into the game still leave an impression, as though they exist in a parallel version of Minecraft, waiting patiently. As you rest, the copper golem becomes a reminder of choices and paths not taken, of the beauty in possibility itself. Finally, the humble zombie is one of Minecraft's oldest and most enduring mobs. Shamblers of the night, they groan and stagger toward players, burning away in the sunlight. Though simple, zombies embody the heart of survival, the idea that the night carries danger and that light brings safety. Variants of zombies, like husks in the desert or drowned in the oceans, show their adaptability, as though darkness itself finds new forms wherever it goes. Their moans, low and haunting, are among the first sounds new players ever hear in survival. And yet, in repetition, those groans become familiar, almost like a song of the night. Zombies are not just enemies, but part of the rhythm of Minecraft's world, forever wandering, forever returning. As you drift into sleep, zombies become less frightening and more like reminders of the cycles of night and day, danger and safety, wakefulness and rest. The drowned are zombies that have succumbed to the sea, their bodies transformed by the waters that envelop them, Found in rivers and oceans, they groan with a muffled, gurgling sound, their voices warped as though heard through deep currents. Some carry tridents, powerful weapons that can pierce from afar, while others hold nautilus shells, linking them to treasures hidden in the sea. Their existence tells a quiet story of ordinary zombies pulled into another fate, reshaped by the ocean into something new. They are not just enemies, but reminders that every environment has its own way of reshaping life. To imagine drowned at bedtime is to think of figures drifting in the deep, carried by currents, not frightening but solemn, a part of the ocean's rhythm, rising and sinking like forgotten memories in the tide. The husk is a desert variant of the zombie, walking across sandy terrain with a parched, dry groan. Unlike ordinary zombies, husks do not burn in daylight, a detail that makes them linger, as though the sun itself cannot cleanse the desert of their presence. Their attacks cause hunger, slowly draining strength and forcing players to think carefully about survival. The husk's cracked pale skin suggests a creature weathered by endless heat and time, a relic wandering through the dunes. In the quiet of sleep, husks become less threatening and more symbolic, like echoes of the desert itself, silent travelers trudging endlessly through the sands, carrying with them the weight of a sun that never sets, a dry wind that never stops. The stray is another zombie variant, this one tied to the snowy tundra. It resembles a skeleton but with icy blue tones, its arrows tipped with slowness, chilling enemies like frost creeping into their bones. The stray appears in the coldest places, its presence making the frozen biomes feel harsher and more alive. Unlike ordinary skeletons, the stray seems shaped by its environment, as though the snow and ice have claimed it fully. Its slow arrows and soft, rattling steps add an eerie stillness to the tundra nights. To picture strays as you drift off is to imagine shadowy figures standing in snowstorms, their bows raised but their movements slow, their forms blending into the white like pieces of the blizzard itself, patient and unyielding. The Phantom is one of Minecraft's most controversial mobs, chosen through a community vote. It appears at night when players have not slept for several days, swooping silently from the sky with piercing cries. Its design ties it directly to rest and exhaustion, a creature born from sleeplessness. Many see it as punishment, but it can also be read as a reminder that even in games, rest matters. Phantoms drop phantom membranes, useful for repairing elytra, making their presence both challenging and rewarding. Their cries, sharp and lonely, make the night sky feel alive, as though shadows above are watching. In the gentle rhythm of bedtime, phantoms transform into dreamlike guardians of sleep itself, swooping not to harm but to remind us to close our eyes, to rest, to find peace in the cycles of night and day. The Endermite is a tiny mob with a surprisingly large place in Minecraft's lore. It rarely spawns, appearing only when players use ender pearls, as though it is a side effect of teleportation. Small and silver, it wriggles quickly across the ground, attacking players but disappearing after a short time. Some believe that Endermites are connected to Endermen, that they represent a larval form or a fragment of the energy that powers their teleportation. While they are minor in gameplay, their existence sparks imagination. In the softness of bedtime thought, Endermites can be imagined as fragments of starlight that fall to the ground when great beings move across space. They are like the crumbs of teleportation, small reminders that even the smallest creatures can hold mystery within them. The polarizing glow squid is a creature chosen by players in a mob vote, its glowing pattern standing out in the dark waters. Unlike regular squids, it emits a gentle light, though it does not illuminate its surroundings. Instead, it glows for the sake of beauty, drifting through the dark with luminous, shifting textures across its body. Glow squids drop glow ink sacs, which allow players to create brighter signs, adding both utility and atmosphere to the game. Their presence in caves and deep waters adds a sense of wonder, as though the darkness itself is alive with hidden beauty. As you rest, glow squids become dreamlike spirits, drifting through underwater caverns, glowing softly like lanterns placed in the sea, guiding explorers and dreamers alike. The axolotl is one of the most beloved creatures in Minecraft, a tiny aquatic companion that helps players in underwater battles. Found in lush caves, axolotls come in various colors, from pink to gold to blue, each one endearing in its own way. They attack hostile aquatic mobs and can even help players by granting regeneration when fighting together. Beyond their usefulness, axolotls are adored for their charm, their little smiles, and playful swimming movements, bringing joy to every encounter. Inspired by real-life axolotls, creatures often called walking fish, they symbolize resilience and uniqueness. In the calm of bedtime, axolotls are dream companions, gentle swimmers who remind us of the beauty in being different, in carrying joy and hope, even in the darkest waters. They are reminders that life, in its many forms, can be both strange and beautiful. The dolphin is a joyful presence in Minecraft's oceans, playful and helpful in equal measure. When swimming nearby, dolphins leap gracefully from the waves, spinning in the air before diving back down with a splash. They lead players toward treasure, guiding them to shipwrecks and ocean ruins, as though eager to share the secrets of the sea. Their speed in the water makes them natural companions, darting alongside boats or swimmers with a kind of cheerful curiosity. Beyond their usefulness, dolphins bring warmth to the oceans, making them feel alive and welcoming. As you drift into rest, dolphins can be imagined as dream guides, swimming beside you in the vast oceans of thought, leaping joyfully through waves of memory, and carrying you toward hidden treasures in the quiet depths of sleep. The cod is one of the simplest creatures in Minecraft, swimming in groups through rivers and oceans. They dart quickly in schools, their small shapes filling the water with movement. While they serve as a basic food source, their main role is atmosphere, making the oceans feel alive and populated. The gentle swaying of fish creates a sense of calm, as though the sea has a heartbeat of its own. Cod remind us that not every creature needs a dramatic role sometimes. Simply existing is enough. To imagine cod as you drift into dreams is to picture small silver bodies flickering in moonlit waters, a school of tiny lives moving together as one, creating a rhythm of harmony and peace beneath the waves. The salmon, longer and more distinct than cod, swims in colder waters, adding variety to Minecraft's aquatic world. They can be caught with a bucket or fished with a rod, becoming a useful resource for food and trade. Salmon are often seen leaping from rivers, echoing their real-world counterparts that swim upstream. Their reddish color and larger size make them stand out, a detail that adds richness to the underwater landscape. In bedtime thoughts, salmon can be imagined as sparks of warmth moving through cold waters, a reminder that even in the chill of life, there are flashes of color and energy that keep the world alive. They become dreamlike travelers, always moving, always flowing toward their destination, carrying the currents of life forward with quiet determination. The tropical fish is perhaps the most colorful mob in Minecraft, appearing in dozens of patterns and hues. Bright stripes, spots, and shapes fill the water where these fish spawn, turning warm oceans into living aquariums. Players may collect them with buckets, or simply watch as they dart and swirl in mesmerizing patterns. Their variety makes each encounter unique, as though the game is painting the water with endless combinations of color. Tropical fish bring joy not through utility but through beauty, their bright forms shimmering like jewels beneath the surface. To imagine them at night is to see a coral reef of colors drifting slowly, a kaleidoscope of life moving gently in time with the tides, a reminder that beauty itself can be enough to soothe us into rest. The pufferfish is both amusing and dangerous, a small creature that inflates when approached. Its round, spiky form makes it look comical, yet it releases poison when touched, turning curiosity into caution. Found in warm oceans, pufferfish add humor and unpredictability to underwater exploration. Their behavior mirrors real-life creatures that defend themselves with sudden displays, reminding players that even the smallest beings have their ways of surviving. In softer dreams, pufferfish become little balloons of the sea, drifting gently, inflating like tiny bubbles of laughter. They remind us that even defenses can be playful, and that sometimes the best way to endure is to surprise the world with our hidden strengths. The turtle, gentle and patient, makes its home on Minecraft's sandy beaches. At night, turtles crawl ashore to lay eggs, which hatch into tiny hatchlings that scurry toward the ocean. The sight of these small creatures rushing into the waves is one of the most endearing moments in the game. Turtles drop scutes as they grow, which can be used to craft turtle shells, protective gear that feels tied to their ancient resilience. Their slow movements and steady lives make them symbols of patience, of enduring time with grace. To imagine turtles in dreams is to see them as keepers of the shore, carrying the memory of the sea on their backs, reminding us that every journey begins with a small, steady step. The guardian is a spined, fish-like creature found in ocean monuments, its body shifting and turning with eerie precision. It shoots beams of energy from its single eye, defending the treasures of the sea. The humming sound of its attack and the prickling of its spines when struck make it one of the most unusual mobs in Minecraft. Guardians add mystery and danger to the oceans, making monuments feel alive with defenses. And yet, beyond their menace, they can be seen as protectors, creatures tasked with preserving the secrets of the deep. In the hush of bedtime, guardians can be imagined as sentinels of forgotten waters, drifting silently, their eyes glowing softly in the darkness, watching without malice, only with purpose, keeping ancient secrets safe beneath the tides. The bat is one of the quietest mobs in Minecraft, fluttering gently through caves with no purpose but to exist. They do not drop loot or offer utility, yet their presence fills empty caverns with life. Their tiny wings flap in uneven rhythms, and sometimes they hang upside down from ceilings, just as real bats do. When disturbed, they squeak and take flight, vanishing into the darkness of stone tunnels. Many players see them as background details, but in truth, they are storytellers, turning silent caves into places where something breathes and moves. As you drift into rest, the thought of bats becomes soft and comforting, the image of tiny shadows gliding on silent wings, reminding us that even the smallest presences can make a space feel alive. The cat is a beloved companion in Minecraft, often tamed in villages or near beds where stray cats wander. Their meows and purrs bring warmth to homes, while their behavior adds charm, curling up to sleep on beds, or bringing players small gifts like rabbit feet or feathers when the sun rises. Cats also serve a protective role, scaring away creepers and phantoms, turning cozy houses into safe havens. Their different colors, tabby, black, white, calico, and more, allow players to find companions that feel personal and unique. Cats embody comfort, curling close as though to guard players in their sleep. To think of cats before bed is to imagine soft fur and gentle purring, a lullaby of sound and presence, carrying you deeper into calm. The dog-like wolf is another animal that transforms into a companion when tamed. Found in forests and taigas, wolves can be befriended with bones, their red-collared forms following loyally wherever you go. They attack enemies on command, defend their owners from harm, and sit patiently when told. Wolves are more than allies. They are emotional presences, bringing a sense of companionship to the lonely expanses of Minecraft. They remind players that survival does not need to mean solitude. To imagine wolves in the quiet of night is to picture steadfast guardians with watchful eyes, always near, always loyal, walking beside you even in the darkest of woods. Their gentle howls become lullabies, carrying echoes of ancient bonds between humans and dogs. The panda is a playful mob that lives in the bamboo forests of jungles. With their round bodies and slow, rolling movements, pandas bring charm and amusement to the world. Each panda has a personality. Lazy pandas lie down, playful pandas roll and tumble, aggressive pandas snort when provoked, and weak pandas sneeze softly. Their bamboo diet ties them to their habitat, as though the jungle itself shaped them to live in harmony with the towering stalks. Pandas remind us of joy, of laughter hidden in the natural world. In dreams, pandas are not simply animals but spirits of play, rolling gently through bamboo groves, carrying with them the sound of soft, rustling leaves and the peace of a forest where time itself slows down. The bee is a bright, buzzing addition to Minecraft, flying from flower to flower and pollinating crops. Their buzzing hum adds music to meadows, while their golden stripes and tiny wings make them feel cheerful and lively. Bees bring both beauty and utility, as their honey can be harvested for food and their wax for crafting. Yet they are also fragile. If they sting, they perish soon after, making their defense costly. This small tragedy makes bees tender creatures, reminders of sacrifice and the balance of life. As you rest, bees can be imagined as drifting motes of sunlight, buzzing gently in warm fields, carrying the sweetness of flowers and the promise of growth wherever they go. The parrot, vibrant and lively, is a jungle companion that mimics the sounds of nearby mobs. Their mimicry can be startling, warning players of danger, or simply amusing when they chatter like zombies or skeletons. Parrots can perch on shoulders, adding intimacy to their companionship, and their feathers of red, green, blue, yellow, and cyan make them brilliant flashes of color among the jungle trees. They are rare, but this rarity makes them precious. In dreams, parrots become keepers of sound, carrying echoes of the world on their wings. They remind us that even in silence, memories of voices can linger. Their soft flapping becomes the rhythm of dreams themselves, carrying you from waking into sleep. The horse is one of Minecraft's most trusted mounts, allowing players to travel quickly across plains and forests. With saddles and armor, horses become partners in exploration, turning long journeys into graceful rides. They come in many patterns and colors, from dappled gray to deep brown, each one unique. Horses jump high, cross rivers, and carry players across vast distances, embodying freedom and speed. They are not just tools but companions, creatures whose whinnies and hoofbeats make the world feel fuller, more alive. In the hush of night, horses can be imagined as dream steeds, galloping gently across the fields of imagination, carrying you farther into the landscapes of rest. Their breath is warm, their pace steady, a reminder that journeys are gentler when shared. The donkey is a quieter cousin to the horse, smaller and slower, but carrying a special gift: the ability to hold chests. While horses embody speed and freedom, donkeys embody patience and burden. Companions meant for long journeys where carrying supplies matters more than racing ahead. Their brays are softer than a horse's neigh, and their gray coats make them blend easily with the landscapes they travel. Many players remember the first time they placed a chest on a donkey's side, realizing they had found not just transport but a pack animal, a helper for exploration. In the stillness of bedtime thought, donkeys become symbols of steadfastness, walking slowly, never rushing, carrying weight with grace. They remind us that progress does not need to be fast. Sometimes it only needs to be steady. The mule is even rarer, born only when a horse and a donkey are bred together. Unable to reproduce themselves, mules exist as unique companions, blending the qualities of both parents. They can carry chests like donkeys, yet often retain the speed of horses, making them practical as well as special. Their sterility, though a limitation in the game, makes them feel singular, as though each mule is one of a kind. In life and lore, mules have long represented hybrids, creatures caught between worlds, valued for their strength and endurance. In Minecraft, they take on the same quiet symbolism, reminding us of uniqueness and resilience. To picture mules before sleep is to imagine twilight creatures, walking softly at the edges of fields, belonging everywhere and nowhere, yet carrying with them the strength of both parent lines. The llama is a playful and proud mob found in highland biomes, often in herds. With long necks and bright eyes, they can be tamed to carry chests, making them useful companions for explorers. Yet, unlike horses or donkeys, llamas form caravans, following one another when leashed, turning supply trips into small parades. Their habit of spitting at threats adds humor, as even the gentlest-looking llama will defend itself with surprising force. Llamas bring personality to the mountains and villages, their woolly coats shifting in shades of brown, white, and cream. To imagine llamas at night is to see gentle caravans moving through moonlit paths, quiet herds carrying supplies with patience and pride, their soft hums drifting like lullabies across high ridges. The wandering traders' llamas are another variant, adorned with colorful carpets that make them stand out in villages and plains. These llamas, loyal to their mysterious merchant owner, often find themselves in unexpected places, appearing suddenly when the trader arrives. Their bright decorations bring color to the world, like living banners of travel and trade. While they may not choose their paths, they embody the spirit of movement, of journeys without clear beginnings or ends. In the soft rhythm of bedtime, trader llamas become symbols of wandering stories, creatures draped in color that carry whispers of faraway places, trotting patiently wherever the wind of code takes them. The cow is one of Minecraft's oldest and most enduring animals. With their brown hides and gentle moos, cows provide food, leather, and milk, making them essential to survival. They graze quietly in fields, their slow pace and steady presence making farms feel alive. For many players, cows are among the first animals ever encountered, their sound becoming part of the earliest memories of the game. Beyond usefulness, they embody familiarity, grounding players in the cycle of farming and growth. To imagine cows in the stillness of night is to hear soft moos echoing in green pastures, the smell of grass heavy in the air, the feeling of abundance and calm. They are reminders of stability, of the ordinary comforts that sustain us. The sheep is another gentle farm animal, iconic for its wool. Found in nearly every biome, sheep provide blocks for beds, carpets, and banners, making them symbols of creativity as well as survival. Their bleating calls fill the air around villages and fields, turning farms into places of sound and life. With dye, their wool can take on every color of the game, making sheep canvases for imagination. Their simple, blocky forms hide a deep richness as they allow players to build and decorate in endless ways. In the hush of bedtime, sheep become dreamlike guardians of sleep itself, their endless wool reminding us of warmth, of blankets and softness, of the ancient idea of counting sheep to find rest. The pig is a creature of joy, with its pink body and cheerful snorts. Once, pigs were among the only rideable animals in the game, using saddles and carrot-on-a-stick tools to guide them. Though horses later surpassed them in usefulness, pigs remain charming, symbols of simplicity and nostalgia. Their oinks and trots bring life to plains and forests, and their role in farms makes them a cornerstone of early survival. To imagine pigs as you drift into dreams is to hear their snuffling in green fields, their tails curled like question marks, their presence reminding us that sometimes delight comes not from usefulness, but from play. They are small, pink companions in the tapestry of Minecraft's world, forever bringing smiles with their gentle sounds. The chicken is one of Minecraft's most cheerful and humble creatures. With its small, blocky body and flapping wings, it wanders through plains and forests, clucking softly as it pecks at the ground. Chickens lay eggs over time, offering players the chance to gather food or begin farms. They are also a source of feathers, which once held even greater importance when arrows had to be crafted by hand. Yet beyond their usefulness, chickens embody simplicity and comfort. Their soft sounds and small size make them less threatening than almost anything else in the world. As you drift toward sleep, chickens can be imagined as tiny guardians of fields, their clucks like lullabies echoing gently in the grass. They remind us that even the smallest voices can make the world feel full and alive. The villager is a cornerstone of Minecraft's living world, bustling with personality and quiet purpose. Found in villages scattered across the land, villagers trade, farm, and gather, each one tied to its profession through its attire and workstation. Their familiar and nodding movements give them a warmth that is both quirky and endearing. Villagers transform empty landscapes into thriving communities, places where survival feels shared rather than solitary. Protecting them from raids or watching them gather at bells as night falls creates moments of connection that feel deeply human. In dreams, villagers become symbols of community itself, reminders that even in blocky worlds, companionship and cooperation are treasures greater than gold. The nitwit is a unique kind of villager, dressed in green robes, who cannot take on professions or trade. Often wandering aimlessly, they seem purposeless at first glance, yet their presence adds texture to villages, suggesting that not every member of a community has a role tied to utility. Nitwits embody leisure, idleness, and the simple act of existing. Their slow pacing and soft hums add realism, as though the world holds room for wanderers and dreamers. In the hush of nighttime imagination, nitwits become gentle figures of rest, walking without destination, humming softly like bedtime songs, reminding us that not every life needs to be defined by work. The iron golem is a towering protector, created when villagers feel the need for defense, or when players construct one from iron and a carved pumpkin. With its massive arms and steady gait, the golem strikes down hostile mobs with ease, its presence a shield against danger. Yet it is also gentle, offering poppies to villagers in a symbolic act of peace. The iron golem is one of Minecraft's most beloved figures, embodying both strength and kindness. To imagine them before sleep is to see great guardians standing silently at the edge of dreams, watchful and steadfast, their heavy steps echoing like the slow, calming beat of a protective heart. The snow golem is a whimsical creature, built from snow blocks and a carved pumpkin. They leave trails of snow wherever they walk, turning green fields into winter wonderlands. They throw snowballs at hostile mobs, their attacks playful rather than deadly, adding charm to the player's defenses. Snow golems melt in warm biomes or near fire, which makes them fragile but precious, symbols of care and environment. Their smiling pumpkin faces and snowy bodies make them feel like creations of childhood, guardians shaped by imagination. As you rest, snow golems can be pictured as gentle snow spirits, wandering through quiet drifts, playful protectors who remind us that joy can be found even in the coldest nights. The piglin brute is one of the most dangerous mobs in the Nether, fiercer than ordinary piglins. Unlike their cousins, they cannot be distracted by gold, charging directly at intruders with axes in hand. Their role is to guard bastion remnants, protecting the treasures hidden within. Yet, beyond their hostility, piglin brutes add depth to the Nether society, suggesting ranks and hierarchies, leaders who embody strength and discipline. They are protectors, fierce but purposeful, ensuring that the secrets of the bastions remain safe. In the stillness of dreams, piglin brutes become figures of trial, reminding us that some treasures must be earned through courage, and that every realm carries guardians who test our resolve. The zoglin is one of the strangest mobs, born when a hoglin is brought from the Nether into the overworld. The transformation is dramatic, turning the creature into an undead form that attacks everything around it, even other hostile mobs. This mechanic emphasizes the divide between realms, as though the Nether cannot cross into the overworld without consequences. Zoglins are destructive, but their existence feels more like a symbol than a threat, a reminder that environments shape life, and that not everything belongs everywhere. In bedtime thought, zoglins become echoes of displacement, restless wanderers who could not adapt, teaching us gently that every being has a home where it thrives best. The goat is a lively creature of the mountains, bounding effortlessly up cliffs and steep slopes. With its short horns and sturdy body, it feels perfectly suited to the jagged peaks where snow meets stone. Goats can leap high into the air, clearing several blocks in a single bound, their agility making them stand out from gentler farm animals. Sometimes, they ram into unsuspecting players or other mobs, sending them tumbling with surprising force. From these rams, goats may drop their horns, which players can use to create loud, echoing calls. Yet despite their mischief, goats add charm to the mountain biomes, filling the cold, lonely landscapes with movement and sound. As you drift toward rest, goats can be pictured as playful spirits of the high places, leaping through clouds, their bleats echoing softly across snowy ridges like lullabies of the wind. The strider is one of the most unusual creatures in Minecraft, walking gracefully across the surface of lava in the Nether. With their long legs and crimson bodies, striders appear fragile, yet they are perfectly adapted to their fiery home. Players can ride them using saddles and warped fungi on a stick, crossing rivers of lava safely on their backs. When striders wander into colder places, they shiver and turn blue, a small but touching detail that shows their deep connection to warmth. They are creatures of balance, thriving in places most beings cannot survive. In dreams, striders are guardians of flame, stepping lightly across seas of fire, carrying travelers safely across impossible landscapes, reminding us that even the harshest places can hold gentle guides. The Wither skeleton is a tall, dark figure found in Nether fortresses, Its bony body glows faintly with a shadowy aura, and its sword inflicts the wither effect, draining life slowly and relentlessly. These skeletons are among the most dangerous foes of the Nether, yet they are also essential, dropping skulls used to summon the Wither Boss. Their design ties them to both challenge and progression, guardians of one of the game's great trials. Their rattling steps echo through fortresses, like drumbeats of warning in the darkness. Yet, in softer thought, wither skeletons can be seen not only as threats but as keepers of gateways, shadows who test courage before players take their next steps. They are reminders that sometimes the darkest figures hold the keys to the brightest victories. The blaze is often thought of as a symbol of the Nether's fire, but its counterpart, the ghast, embodies its haunting spirit. Huge and ghost-like, ghasts drift across vast lava oceans, their pale faces marked by sadness. Their cries, mournful and drawn out, echo across the void, filling the Nether with atmosphere. They attack with explosive fireballs, but their slow, drifting, and sorrowful sounds make them feel tragic rather than purely hostile. Their tears, which drop as rare items, are used to brew potions of regeneration, tying their sadness directly to healing. To imagine ghasts in the quiet of night is to picture lost souls floating gently in the sky, their cries softening into lullabies, carrying you further into the dreamlike sea of memory and imagination. The phantom is known for haunting the skies of the overworld, but in a gentler light, it is also a creature tied deeply to sleep itself. Appearing only when players neglect rest, phantoms embody the consequences of exhaustion. Their leathery wings beat softly as they swoop down, their cries sharp but fleeting. While often disliked, phantoms hold an important symbolism. They remind us to value sleep, to take time for renewal. Their phantom membranes repair elytra, wings that allow flight, connecting them to themes of freedom and recovery. In dreams, phantoms are not punishments but messengers, whispering that rest matters, that renewal gives strength. As you drift off, they become guardians of slumber, watching the skies and urging the world to pause, to close its eyes, and to breathe. The Warden, though already explored in its own chapter, deserves another moment of reflection here. Emerging from the skulk when silence is broken, the Warden is not merely a mob but a presence, a living embodiment of fear and patience. Its heartbeat, deep and steady, echoes in the darkness, warning explorers that they are no longer alone. Unlike most mobs, the Warden is not meant to be defeated but avoided, a lesson in humility and restraint. It reminds us that survival is not always about strength but about respect for forces greater than ourselves. In the hush of bedtime, the Warden transforms from terror into metaphor, a reminder of stillness, of silence, of listening to the quiet around us. It becomes a guardian not of treasure but of peace, urging us to move slowly, breathe deeply, and rest. The Ender Dragon, the final boss of Minecraft's survival journey, is perhaps the most iconic mob of all. Towering and powerful, it circles the end with wings that block out the void sky. Its roar shakes the dimension, and its attacks demand courage and preparation. Yet, beyond the challenge, the Ender Dragon carries weight as a symbol. It represents the culmination of a journey, the test at the end of long survival. Defeating it opens a portal home, but its presence lingers, as though the dragon itself is the spirit of the end. In dreams, the dragon can be softened, no longer a foe but a guardian of mystery, wings spanning the night sky, carrying explorers across the threshold between waking and rest. It becomes not a beast to slay but a dream to ride, guiding us into deeper realms of imagination. The Enderman is a creature of mystery, tall and silent, its long limbs and glowing eyes making it one of the most unsettling mobs in the game. Endermen wander the overworld, the nether, and the end, picking up blocks and moving them as though they are curators of the land itself. They only become hostile when stared at, reacting to the act of attention rather than aggression. This mechanic makes them feel strange, as if they exist between worlds, governed by rules we do not fully understand. Their distorted voices are fragments of human speech played backward, adding to their haunting quality. Yet, in the softness of night, Endermen can be reimagined not as foes, but as lonely travelers, wandering endlessly with pieces of the world in their hands, caretakers of blocks who never settle. The Shulker is a peculiar creature found in end cities, hiding inside shell-like boxes that blend into their surroundings. They attack by launching levitation-inducing projectiles, sending players drifting upward into the sky. Yet when their shells are opened, they reveal a strange, almost cartoonish face. Shulkers drop shells that can be used to craft shulker boxes, some of the most valuable storage items in Minecraft, capable of retaining contents even when broken. Their design ties defense, utility, and whimsy into one package. In a bedtime rhythm, shulkers become like hidden storytellers, shy beings who peek from their shells and lift dreamers into the sky, as though encouraging us to rise softly into the air and float into sleep's embrace. The silverfish is a small, scurrying mob found within strongholds, hiding inside infested blocks. When released, they dart quickly, attacking in swarms if others are nearby. Though they are weak individually, silverfish create a sense of unease, as they can emerge suddenly from the very walls around you. Their presence in strongholds ties them to the end portal, as though they are guardians of hidden passageways, keepers of the last step in the journey. Their darting, restless motion can be unsettling, but in gentler thought, they become symbols of persistence, tiny reminders that even the smallest creatures can guard important places. In dreams, silverfish can be softened into small sparks of motion, quick flickers at the edges of awareness, guiding players gently toward the mysteries beyond stone corridors. The Endermite is another curious creature, a rare spawn that appears when players use ender pearls. Tiny and purple, it resembles a small insect, wriggling across the ground with surprising hostility. Though weak, Endermites are significant because Endermen despise them, attacking them on sight. This strange relationship suggests hidden lore, as though Endermites are parasites tied to teleportation, tiny remnants of the void that Endermen cannot tolerate. Their rarity makes them feel special, a fleeting glimpse of something connected to the deeper mysteries of the end. At night, they can be imagined as little fragments of teleportation energy, drifting sparks that fall away when journeys are made between points, as though space itself sheds tiny creatures in the act of movement. The Guardian is an aquatic mob found near ocean monuments, spiny fish-like beings that shoot beams of energy at intruders. Their spikes flare outward when attacked, and their eerie sounds ripple through the water. Guardians are protectors of treasures hidden deep in the ocean, surrounding monuments with danger. Their design makes oceans feel alive and challenging, full of creatures that defend their homes. In softer thought, guardians are not enemies but watchful sentinels, glowing eyes peering through the water like stars beneath the waves. To picture them at bedtime is to imagine vast oceans filled with flickering lights, ancient keepers of the sea who drift quietly in patterns older than memory. The Elder Guardian is the larger and more powerful counterpart, found at the heart of ocean monuments. These massive beings apply mining fatigue to intruders, making progress slow and careful. Defeating them is part of conquering monuments, but their presence also feels ceremonial, as though each one is a high priest or ancient figure of the deep. Their ghostly faces appear suddenly when they cast their effect, startling players and emphasizing their otherworldly power. Yet beyond danger, elder guardians feel like legends, leviathans dwelling in deep waters, embodiments of patience and timelessness. In dreams, they can be pictured as vast shadows beneath the sea, their slow movements like lullabies of the ocean, rocking explorers gently into rest. The axolotl is a beloved creature of Minecraft's newer updates, found in lush caves swimming gracefully in pools of water. With their smiling faces and colorful varieties, axolotls quickly became favorites among players. They assist in underwater combat, attacking hostile mobs alongside the player, yet they remain playful and harmless in their demeanor. Their real-world inspiration as endangered amphibians adds weight to their inclusion, tying the game to a message of care and conservation. At bedtime, axolotls can be pictured as tiny dream companions, drifting through calm underground lakes, their little legs paddling slowly, their smiles reassuring. They remind us that playfulness and friendship are treasures that endure even in the darkest caves. The dolphin is one of the most joyful creatures in Minecraft, found swimming gracefully through the oceans. With playful leaps and quick darting movements, they embody energy and curiosity. Dolphins often follow players, guiding them to shipwrecks and buried treasure, making them companions of exploration. When swimming alongside them, players gain a speed boost, as though the dolphins are lending their strength and cheer to the journey. Their clicks and chirps fill the ocean with life, transforming vast waters into places of friendship. In dreams, dolphins are guides of the sea, playful messengers who carry wanderers safely through waves, reminding us that exploration is easier when shared with companions, full of light and laughter. The turtle is a gentle creature of the shoreline, moving slowly on land but swimming smoothly through the water. They lay eggs on beaches, and tiny baby turtles hatch and scurry toward the ocean, a cycle that feels tender and alive within the blocky world. From turtles, players can obtain scutes, which craft helmets that let them breathe underwater longer. The image of baby turtles crawling to the sea under the moonlight adds a sense of wonder and fragility to the game. At bedtime, turtles can be pictured as patient wanderers of tide and sand, their shells carrying quiet stories, their lives tied to cycles of return. They remind us of persistence, of journeys that begin small but carry immense promise. The polar bear roams the icy biomes, large and silent, neutral unless threatened. Polar bears embody both power and calm. They often wander with cubs, and their protective nature shows when players come too close to the little ones. Their presence adds life to frozen lands, reminding players that even the coldest places are homes to families. The bear's lumbering walk and deep growl are balanced by the gentleness of its cubs, creating a scene that feels both strong and tender. In the hush of night, polar bears become dreamlike guardians of frozen wilderness, standing watch as snow falls silently, teaching that even in harshness, care and protection endure. The panda, found in bamboo jungles, is one of the most expressive and charming mobs. With rolling, sitting, and playful behaviors, pandas bring personality and warmth to the game. They even come in different personalities: lazy, playful, aggressive, and more, making each panda feel unique. Their fondness for bamboo ties them deeply to their environment, creating a sense of harmony between mob and biome. Watching a panda roll across the grass or nibble gently at bamboo is a moment of pure delight. In bedtime imagination, pandas are soft companions of the forest, rolling lazily in green groves, symbols of play, peace, and the beauty of simply being. The parrot, small and brightly feathered, flutters through jungles in vivid colors. Players can tame parrots with seeds, and once tamed, they rest on the player's shoulder, becoming tiny, watchful friends. Their most unusual trait is mimicry. Parrots imitate the sounds of nearby hostile mobs, a warning disguised in playfulness. This mechanic makes them both useful and endearing, guardians who speak in borrowed voices. Their wings beat softly, and their calls bring brightness to the jungle. As you drift into sleep, parrots can be imagined as dream guides, whispering echoes of danger in gentle tones, their feathers glowing like fragments of the rainbow carried into night. The cat is a treasured companion, tamed from stray cats found in villages. Cats come in many patterns, from sleek black to tabby stripes to elegant Siamese, and once tamed, they curl up near beds, offering safety and comfort. They also scare away phantoms and creepers, their mere presence a shield against danger. Cats purr softly, one of the most soothing sounds in the game, making homes feel truly alive. Their independent nature makes them feel authentic, wandering freely yet always returning to their owners. In dreams, cats are the perfect bedtime guardians, curling quietly at the edges of sleep, their purrs blending with breath, their presence promising rest and peace. The ocelot, once the tameable jungle cat, has since been separated into its own role as a wild animal. Unlike cats, ocelots cannot be fully domesticated anymore, though they can be befriended with trust. Their spotted coats and darting movements make them feel alive and alert, predators of the jungle that move with elegance and grace. Their old role of scaring away creepers has passed to cats, but ocelots remain important as symbols of the untamed. They are reminders that not every creature is meant to be owned, that some must remain wild. At bedtime, ocelots can be pictured as ghost-like hunters, slipping through leaves in golden moonlight, guardians of wilderness and freedom. The rabbit is a small and quick creature, darting through fields and deserts with light, bouncing steps. With their soft ears and twitching noses, rabbits bring life and gentleness to many biomes. Some are snowy white, blending into tundras, while others wear coats of brown or black that match forests and plains. They drop rabbit hides and meat, and sometimes rare rabbit's feet, which can be used in potions of leaping. Yet most players remember rabbits not for their drops but for their charm, the way they hop quietly through grass, adding a spark of liveliness to the world. In bedtime thought, rabbits are soft companions of twilight, hopping endlessly across green fields, quiet little dreamers moving gently toward dawn. The fox is a shy and clever mob found in taiga forests, often appearing in pairs or families. With their sleek orange coats or white fur in snowy variants, foxes carry an aura of mischief and grace. They can carry items in their mouths, sometimes picking up food or even rare treasures like emeralds. When tamed through trust, they become loyal companions, willing to defend the player. Foxes sleep curled up in the daytime, their tails wrapped around them like blankets. In dreams, foxes can be imagined as keepers of secrets, silent and swift, slipping between trees with treasures in their mouths, their bright eyes glowing softly in the moonlit forest. The bee is a beloved addition to Minecraft, buzzing cheerfully through meadows and forests. Bees gather pollen from flowers, returning it to their hives and spreading growth wherever they go. They help crops flourish, making farms richer and fields brighter. Their gentle buzzing fills the air with sound, and their round, blocky forms make them both adorable and soothing to watch. While bees will sting if provoked, they are primarily creatures of harmony, encouraging life around them. At bedtime, Bees become symbols of community and care, tiny dream workers who hum lullabies as they drift from flower to flower, weaving fields of blossoms beneath a soft, endless sky. The bat is one of Minecraft's simplest mobs, fluttering through caves with little purpose but much atmosphere. Bats add sound and motion to dark spaces, their squeaks echoing faintly through stone corridors. Though they drop nothing and serve no survival role, their presence is important, making caves feel alive and inhabited. Their random flight patterns are unpredictable, sometimes startling, but never dangerous. In the quiet of night, bats can be reimagined as tiny guardians of caverns, drifting like shadows with wings soft as whispers, their squeaks becoming echoes that guide dreamers gently deeper into slumber. The mushroom is a rare and magical variant of the cow, found only in mushroom biomes. With red bodies covered in mushrooms, they feel like living pieces of fantasy. Players can milk them for mushroom stew, making them both practical and whimsical. Mushrooms can even be transformed into brown variants by being struck with lightning, a detail that ties them to weather and change. Their rarity makes them precious, symbols of discovery and wonder in the game. In bedtime imagination, mushrooms are dreamlike beings who graze in glowing fields of fungi, their mushrooms spreading gentle light, their moos echoing softly in places where no danger ever comes. The axolotl, already beloved for its charm, carries a hidden strength in the way it plays dead when injured, tricking hostile mobs into leaving it alone. This survival trait gives them resilience despite their small size. Their bright colors and friendly faces mask clever instincts, making them both adorable and resourceful. In dreams, axolotls become symbols of quiet endurance, little friends who remind us that even playfulness can hold wisdom, and that survival does not always mean fighting. Sometimes it means pretending, resting, and waiting for danger to pass. The horse, though mentioned earlier, deserves another reflection. Horses are creatures of speed and partnership, chosen companions for journeys across wide landscapes. Each horse varies in speed and jump strength, making them individuals with unique qualities. Their neighs and gallops bring a sense of movement and freedom, transforming travel into something joyful. Saddling a horse and riding into the horizon is one of Minecraft's most liberating experiences. At bedtime, horses can be reimagined as dream steeds, carrying us gently across starry fields, their hooves beating rhythms like heartbeats, their presence steady and strong, reminding us that companionship and movement can both be soothing in their own ways. The donkey, though explored earlier as a pack animal, carries another layer of charm when we consider the sound of its bray and the way it plods steadily along paths. Unlike the swiftness of horses, donkeys embody patience. They do not rush, they do not leap too far, they simply continue onward with calm endurance. Players who add chests to donkeys discover companions for long journeys, animals who carry supplies without complaint. In the hush of night, donkeys can be pictured as gentle dream bearers, carrying the burdens of the day away into the distance, their steady hooves echoing like soft drum beats, leading towards sleep. The mule, a hybrid of horse and donkey, is rare because it cannot be bred naturally. Each mule must be created intentionally, a symbol of choice rather than chance. Mules combine the best of both parents, able to carry chests like donkeys while moving with more speed, like horses. Their inability to reproduce makes them unique, each one irreplaceable once lost. In dreams, mules embody singularity and care, creatures reminding us that some companions are once in a lifetime. Their steady eyes and strong steps carry us through imagined fields, guardians of treasures not measured in loot, but in presence. The llama, often found in herds upon highland plains and mountain slopes, is proud and social. Their long necks rise above grasses, and their spitting defense, though comical, makes them fiercely protective. Llamas can carry chests like donkeys, but their greatest gift is their caravan nature. When one llama is leashed, the others follow. This transforms them into symbols of community, a line of companions walking together across the world. In the quiet of imagination, llamas become gentle processions of dreams, their hooves clopping softly in rhythm, each following the next into the vast horizon of sleep. The wandering trader's llamas bring even more color to the game, decorated with bright carpets that transform them into moving banners. Loyal to their mysterious owner, they appear suddenly in villages and wilderness alike, often startling players with their abrupt arrival. These llamas, brightly adorned, embody the spirit of travel, carrying hints of faraway places and unseen lands. At bedtime, they can be imagined as dream messengers, adorned with colors that flutter gently in the breeze, stepping lightly as they carry whispers of journeys untold. Their arrival is brief, but their presence lingers, like passing dreams that leave behind fragments of wonder. The cow, a staple of survival, is more than a source of food or leather. Their soft moos and gentle wandering fill fields with life. Cows gather in herds, grazing quietly, their heavy steps making farms feel complete. They provide milk as well, cleansing players of potion effects, making them not only sustenance but healers. In soft reflection, cows become symbols of abundance and grounding, of nourishment that sustains us in both body and spirit. In the dreamlike hush, cows are gentle guardians of pastures, their moos like slow lullabies drifting across grasslands under starlit skies. The sheep, fluffy and diverse in color, are perhaps one of the most comforting mobs. Their wool provides material for beds, carpets, and banners, transforming them into weavers of creativity. With dyes, their wool can shift into every color imaginable, making them living canvases. Their bleating fills villages and plains, adding soundscapes of gentleness. Beyond usefulness, sheep are companions of rest, the very symbol of sleep itself, tied to the ancient ritual of counting sheep to ease the mind. In bedtime thought, flocks of sheep move endlessly across rolling hills, each step guiding dreamers further into slumber, each bleat a reminder of comfort and warmth. The pig, pink and playful, adds cheer to Minecraft's landscapes. Their snorts and waddling steps make them endearing, even humorous. Once rideable with saddles and carrots on sticks, pigs now serve primarily as farm animals, but their charm remains timeless. Their curly tails and cheerful oinks create moments of lightness in survival's challenges. In the imagination of night, pigs become small joys, dream companions who trot happily through grassy fields, reminders that even in harsh worlds, delight and play are essential. They embody innocence and laughter, qualities that carry softly into rest. The chicken, small and clucking, is often one of the first animals new players encounter. Its tiny wings flap as it wanders through fields, pecking quietly at the ground. Chickens lay eggs over time, providing not only food but the beginnings of farms. Their feathers once held great importance when every arrow required careful crafting, and though times have changed, their value lingers. Beyond usefulness, chickens are simply endearing, their clucks and waddles filling plains with lightheartedness. At bedtime, chickens become symbols of simplicity, gentle voices in the grass whose tiny steps echo like the ticking of clocks, soothing in their rhythm, steady in their song. The villager, dressed in robes that reflect their professions, is more than just a background figure. They are the heartbeat of villages. Farmers, librarians, blacksmiths, clerics, and more go about their days with purpose, trading with players in exchanges that feel like quiet partnerships. Their distinctive has become one of Minecraft's most recognizable sounds, a blend of curiosity and patience. Villagers gather at bells when night falls, creating moments of routine and community. In dreams, villagers become keepers of quiet towns, their lives slow and steady, their voices humming softly like background music for peaceful nights. The nitwit, often overlooked, plays a different role. Dressed in green and wandering without trade or task, nitwits may seem purposeless, yet their presence suggests something deeper, that a community is not only made of workers and traders, but also of those who wander, who exist simply to fill the world with life. They add texture, a reminder that not every path is defined by productivity. In the calm of bedtime, nitwits embody rest itself, drifting gently without aim, humming softly to themselves like dreamers who never wake, content in simply being. The iron golem is a giant of kindness and strength. Towering over villagers, it protects them from harm, striking down zombies and other threats with sweeping blows. Yet, despite its power, the iron golem offers poppies to children, a gesture of care that softens its hulking form. Players, too, can create iron golems, crafting protectors out of iron and pumpkins. They are guardians of community, sentinels of peace. In dreams, iron golems can be pictured as great watchmen standing at the gates of sleep, their heavy steps resonating like heartbeats, their gentle poppy gifts, symbols of safety in the dark. The snow golem is playful by nature, built by players with snow and a carved pumpkin. They wander about, leaving trails of snow wherever they go, transforming green landscapes into winter wonderlands. Though fragile, melting in warm biomes or near fire, they defend players by throwing endless snowballs at enemies. Their smiling pumpkin faces make them feel like creatures of imagination, guardians born from childhood creativity. In bedtime thought, snow golems become soft snow spirits, drifting through fields of white, tossing gentle snowflakes into the air, reminding us that play and laughter are forms of protection too. The piglin brute is a fierce guardian of the nether's bastions, standing taller and stronger than ordinary piglins. Unlike their kin, they cannot be distracted by gold, attacking relentlessly with axes in hand. Their presence ensures that the treasures of the bastions remain hard-earned, demanding caution and respect. Yet, even in their ferocity, piglin brutes add depth to the world, showing ranks and roles within nether society. They are guardians of wealth and pride. In dreams, piglin brutes can be softened into watchful sentinels, standing quietly in fiery halls, their axes no longer weapons but symbols of discipline, order, and devotion. The zoglin, twisted from a hoglin when brought into the overworld, is a creature of displacement. Stripped of its nether home, it becomes hostile to all, attacking creatures around it without rest. This transformation speaks of belonging, that some creatures thrive only in their own environments. Though destructive, zoglins are more tragic than fearsome, symbols of the consequences of being torn from one's natural place. In the hush of sleep, they can be reimagined as restless wanderers, creatures lost between realms, teaching us gently that everything has a home where it is meant to flourish. The ghast drifts through the nether like a pale, sorrowful ghost. Its square form floats above oceans of lava, its tentacles trailing softly below. What makes the ghast unforgettable is not only its fireballs, hurled with sudden force, but also its cries, long, haunting wails that echo across the crimson sky. These sounds give the nether an air of tragedy, as though the land itself is mourning. When defeated, ghasts drop tears, rare items used for brewing regeneration potions, tying their sorrow directly to healing. In the hush of night, ghasts can be seen as dream spirits, their voices softened into lullabies, their tears blessings of renewal, floating gently across fiery seas. The blaze is another guardian of the nether, spinning rods of fire that shoot bursts of flame at intruders. Found in nether fortresses, they are both dangerous and vital, as their blaze rods are key to brewing and to reaching the end. Surrounded by a haze of smoke, their fiery cores glow brightly, making them both frightening and mesmerizing. Their crackling sound is like a campfire magnified, filling fortresses with a constant reminder of heat and danger. Yet, beyond hostility, blazes embody endurance, eternal flames that never fade. In dreams they are sparks of inspiration, fiery beacons lighting paths through endless night. The wither skeleton, tall and shadowy, carries a stone sword infused with the wither effect, a slow drain of life. Their rattling bones and looming forms make nether fortresses daunting, but they also carry great significance, as their skulls summon the wither itself. Wither skeletons are guardians of trials, gatekeepers to one of Minecraft's most powerful bosses. They are dark mirrors of ordinary skeletons, stretched tall and infused with shadow. At bedtime, they can be softened into silhouettes wandering ancient halls, their presence steady but not cruel, reminders that sometimes shadows must be passed through before light can be found. The Strider is gentle by contrast, walking calmly across the lava seas. With their long legs and crimson bodies, Striders are perfectly at home where most creatures would perish. Players may ride them with saddles, using warped fungi on a stick to guide their steps. When Striders wander into cold biomes, they shiver and turn bluish, a detail that makes them feel alive and vulnerable. They remind us that every creature has its place, that even in the harshest worlds, there is a way to walk safely. In dreams, Striders are guides of fire, stepping softly across glowing seas, carrying wanderers to safety on waves of flame. The magma cube is a bouncing block of molten energy, splitting into smaller versions of itself whenever struck down. Their rhythmic hops echo through basalt deltas, their fiery bodies glowing with cracks of light. Though dangerous, their movement is almost playful, a reminder of slimes transformed by fire. Magma cream, dropped by these creatures, becomes a key resource for brewing potions of fire resistance, turning their heat into protection. In bedtime imagination, magma cubes are not threats, but lanterns of the nether, bouncing endlessly, their glow casting warmth across the darkness, like flickering candles lighting caverns. The hoglin is a powerful beast that roams the crimson forests of the nether. With tusks sharp and bodies broad, they charge at players with force, making them one of the more dangerous neutral creatures. Yet hoglins also provide pork and leather, making them a resource as well as a threat. Their grunts and heavy footsteps fill the forests, reminding explorers that the nether's wilderness is alive and dangerous. Hoglins fear warped fungi, backing away from its strange scent, a small balance of weakness in their strength. In dreams, hoglins become ancient guardians of crimson woods, thundering softly through the trees, their presence grounding the fiery world in primal life. The piglin is perhaps the most complex inhabitant of the nether. Unlike other mobs, piglins are semi-neutral, responding to players with curiosity when offered gold. They barter, exchanging precious items in return, creating one of the few ways to trade outside villages. Yet, when angered, piglins attack in groups, their loyalty to each other fierce and immediate. They are societies of survival, proud and protective of their bastions. In the hush of night, piglins can be seen not as foes but as wanderers of fire, creatures who treasure gold not only for wealth but as a symbol of survival. Their exchanges feel like whispered agreements, quiet bonds made in the glow of flame. The phantom, feared by some and misunderstood by others, is a creature of the skies that emerges only when players have gone too long without sleep. With tattered wings and glowing eyes, phantoms swoop silently through the night, punishing exhaustion. Yet their drops phantom membranes repair elytra, linking their presence to flight and renewal. In this way, phantoms are reminders of balance, whispering softly that even heroes must rest. In dreams, they can be reimagined as guardians of slumber, circling gently above like night watchers, encouraging dreamers to close their eyes and surrender to peaceful sleep. The Warden, already one of Minecraft's most infamous mobs, deserves reflection once more here. Blind but endlessly aware, the Warden rises from the skulk when silence is broken. It is not meant to be fought but avoided, teaching players humility and patience. Its deep heartbeat, thudding like a drum, is both terrifying and mesmerizing. At bedtime, the Warden's heartbeat can be softened into something protective rather than fearful, a deep, steady rhythm guiding dreamers into calmness, like the sound of the earth itself breathing beneath us. The Ender Dragon, mighty ruler of the End, is often the final foe in a survival journey. With vast wings and a roar that shakes the void, it feels like the embodiment of culmination, a test at the end of all trials. Defeating it brings freedom, but its presence lingers as a legend, tied forever to the end dimension. At night, the dragon can become something gentler, a dream beast, not of destruction, but of passage, carrying sleepers across vast, starry skies into realms of imagination. The Wither, another great boss, is a creature summoned intentionally by players using soul sand and wither skeleton skulls. Unlike the dragon, the Wither is not a discovery but a creation born from ritual. Its 3 skulls launch explosive attacks, spreading destruction across the land. Yet defeating it rewards the Nether Star, used to craft beacons, tools of guidance and strength. The Wither is a symbol of trial by fire, a reminder that growth often requires struggle. In dreamlike thought, the Wither can be softened into a shadowed guardian, carrying not fear but resilience, whispering that from hardship comes light. The Elder Guardian, massive and ancient, lurks in the depths of ocean monuments. Its sudden spectral face appears when it inflicts mining fatigue, startling players with a ghostly warning. But beyond this startling presence, Elder Guardians feel timeless, like ancient priests of the sea. They defend monuments as though protecting secrets older than the oceans themselves. At bedtime, Elder Guardians can be reimagined as lullaby keepers of the deep, their slow movements like waves, their silent watch a promise that mysteries lie safely guarded beneath the surface. The Guardian, smaller but no less vigilant, patrols the waters around ocean monuments. Its eye glows, locking onto intruders before releasing beams of energy. Spiny and angular, it looks otherworldly, part machine, part fish. Yet guardians add life to the sea, reminding players that oceans hold not only beauty, but challenges worth meeting. Their beams may sting, but their presence makes the sea feel alive. In dreams, guardians transform into underwater lanterns, their glowing eyes guiding explorers through vast, calm oceans filled with stars of bioluminescence. The axolotl, one of Minecraft's most beloved additions, has already been celebrated for its playfulness, yet its symbolism runs deeper still. Found in lush caves, these creatures join players in battle against hostile mobs, showing loyalty and spirit. When injured, they play dead, recovering quietly before returning to fight again. This simple behavior carries a message of resilience, that even small creatures can endure, that strength can be found in resting, waiting, and rising once more. In the hush of sleep, axolotls become dream companions, smiling softly as they drift through pools of imagination, reminding us to heal gently, to float, to endure. The silverfish is a tiny creature, but its sudden appearance can startle even the calmest of explorers. Hidden within infested blocks deep inside strongholds, silverfish scurry free when stone is broken, their small gray bodies darting quickly in every direction. Though weak on their own, silverfish can swarm when others are nearby, turning quiet moments into chaos. Their connection to strongholds makes them guardians of the end portal, as though even the smallest beings are tasked with protecting great mysteries. In the softness of bedtime thought, silverfish can be imagined not as pests, but as little sparks of life in forgotten places, moving quickly like flickers of memory through the cracks of old stone. They are whispers of time, subtle reminders that hidden things often carry deep importance. The endermite is even smaller, appearing only rarely when an ender pearl is thrown. Purple and restless, these tiny creatures writhe across the ground with surprising hostility. They are fragile and fleeting, often disappearing after only a short while. Yet their rarity makes them significant, hints of deeper mysteries tied to teleportation itself. Endermen attack them on sight, suggesting a secret relationship, perhaps parasites, or echoes of broken travel. At night, endermites can be pictured as fragments of the void itself, small dream creatures left behind when journeys through space are made. They flicker briefly, then vanish, like thoughts that drift through the mind just as sleep begins to take hold. The mushroom, already touched upon, deserves a final reflection here, as it feels like the perfect creature to close this long and gentle journey. Found only in the rare mushroom fields, mushrooms are cows transformed by their environment, their red hides covered in bright fungi. They offer mushroom stew when milked, a gift of nourishment that feels magical. Lightning can change their form, turning them brown and shifting their nature, as though weather itself can alter destiny. Rare, gentle, and wondrous, mushrooms embody whimsy and peace. To imagine them at bedtime is to walk through glowing mushroom fields under starlight, the air filled with calm, the ground soft beneath your steps, the moos of dreamlike creatures echoing like lullabies through a land where no danger intrudes. And now, dear listener, we reach the end of our long journey, 150 facts about the creatures who fill Minecraft's world with life, danger, humor, and wonder. From the smallest silverfish to the towering ender dragon, from the gentle cow in the pasture to the mysterious warden deep below, each mob carries its own story, its own presence in the blocky tapestry of the game. Together, they remind us that every world is alive, every space filled with voices, movements, and echoes of purpose. As you rest, you might carry with you images of llamas walking in caravans, dolphins guiding explorers across oceans, or endermen wandering silently with blocks in their hands. Perhaps you picture the laughter of parrots, the protective steps of iron golems, or the soft hum of bees in flowering fields. Each creature is a companion of imagination, a part of the dreamlike rhythm of Minecraft that continues long after the screen is dark. Thank you for joining me tonight on this gentle exploration, one fact at a time, across a world both familiar and mysterious. If you've enjoyed this journey, I invite you to subscribe so that we may walk together again through other stories and other worlds. And, as always, I would love to know where are you listening from tonight as these words carry you into rest. Now, may your dreams be peaceful, filled with gentle mobs wandering quietly across fields and forests, oceans and caves. May the ender dragon's wings become stars above you, and may the warden's heartbeat become the steady rhythm of sleep. Rest well, friend. The world of Minecraft and the world of dreams will be waiting when you wake.